Hello and welcome back to the official video webcast of GeekRest.com. Happy time, as we like to call it. I'm Adam from GeekRest.
The face of GeekRest.
Yeah, the body.
And I'm Aaron from A Comic Show and A Comic Shop.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about some new happenings in the world of pop culture as it pertains to comic books, pretty much.
Yes. So let's get the media stuff out of the way first. Television and whatnot. A Green Arrow television show. We talked about this briefly a couple months ago.
Yeah.
They're steamrolling ahead. Of course, it's going to be on the CW, called Arrow.
And that's cool because, like, a lot of times when I talk about Green Arrow, it's like, what, are you talking about a turn signal? Like, on the you know, it's like, you know, it's got the Green Arrow turn. I don't know. Like, the whole thing of, like, the color adjective is kind of like...
Arrow? Well, that's why they're just calling him Arrow.
It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I'm not like, I don't want it to be any other color than green, actually. But, you know, you don't have to call him Green Arrow. Arrow's fine. The
CW released the first footage from the show, and, you know, it gives people a first look at, you know, what the hell is this going to be about. It's CW, you know, they can, it looks like CW. Didn't look bad.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you know, Smallville had its haters and its hardcore fans. I love the Jeff Johns episodes of Smallville. Yeah. But, you know, Smallville, like, there's a lot of fans up in arms about, like, Arrow is loosely based on the DC comic character Green Arrow. And, you know, like, I seriously could say Smallville was loosely based on the DC comic character Superman. Yeah. Because he was never called Superman. Mm-hmm. Just like Green Arrow is going to be called Arrow and not Green Arrow, you know? I mean, all the elements of the Superman mythos were in Smallville, but he was never called Superman.
People are like up in arms about like, oh, is Mother still alive?
Yeah, I don't like that.
The city's Starling City. It's not Star City.
That's close enough for me.
What?
I don't. It's not like Star City is like Gotham or Metropolis. Star City is just like.
But the show could work. I feel like the show could work. You know, the teaser looked cool. Kind of looked like Batman Begins training scene. It was just a teaser.
And ultimately, like Green Arrow is just like. This kind of like universal type thing that can strike a chord with people because it's like Robin Hood. Like it's like Robin Hood. It's some dude with arrows taking on society's ills.
I feel like he's the closest thing they got to Batman. He's like, I mean, dude, he's a billionaire playboy.
And that's why he was on Smallville, you know, because they couldn't have Batman, so they put Green Arrow as like a substitute. They didn't have the license. And it killed. Yeah. And like speaking of which, I wish that actor was the actor on here because I really liked him. He's so sexy, he has those abs and.
No, you got to see the promo. That's what everyone's talking about. This guy Stephen Amell. They show his workout.
He's very sexy
he's
too.
Ripped. He's a handsome.
I like the pretty boy Green Arrow from Smallville, but he was still ripped. But like that pretty boy face, like. You know, like just some kind of, this is just what I like, pretty boy faces.
Sculpt me.
But moving on to other TV, thankfully, Punisher's not going to happen.
Punisher's not happening. We don't need another cop show, and that's what it was going to be. What was it? He's a detective, up-and-coming detective in the NYPD, and he moonlights as the Punisher.
It could have been called Law and Order Vigilante. I mean, come on.
That I'd watch with Orback. Yeah, so they're not moving ahead with that.
I'm very happy
with that. That was a Fox
with
show. These are all Disney's properties, and they're trying to spread them out onto television. Why not? They're, it's heyday time for comic books and film.
And
TV.
Jessica Jones is not
doing that either. No.
It could have been good if it was on like an AMC or FX. Like, what was it going to be on?
That was going to be. I think that was CBS as well.
No, I would want it to be on like Showtime, HBO. FX, AMC, something that could be edgier because Jessica Jones was a mature reader comic. Yeah. I mean, it opened up that, she was getting it from behind from Luke Cage. I mean, like,
spoiler.
That was in the first issue. I mean, Jessica Jones was just down on her luck, constantly doing bad things and punishing herself. And, but it was a great private investigator thing. And it just has to be really gritty and really dark and really authentic. I don't want a Jessica Jones like Ally McBeal or something, Like,
yeah, that's what I kind of thought it might turn into. But I mean, people were excited to see, like you said, Luke Cage.
Yeah, it would have been cool
these characters
in a way if it was done, edgier, more like the source material. Speaking of,
what they are moving forward with is the Hulk.
And that's a no-brainer after the movie. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know if Avengers influenced that decision, but that's Guillermo del Toro's.
Obviously, Hulk's done well on TV in the past anyway. Yeah. So
Hulk on TV is no new thing. What they should be worried about maybe is keeping the budget low enough that they don't run themselves into the ground because the Hulk is,
it's
going. You want to see the Hulk. Yeah.
It's going to have to be pretty heavy on the Bruce Banner, and the Bruce Banner stuff has to be really compelling. Yeah. You know, the actor has to really sell Bruce Banner and really make us care about him, so that we're rooting for him. And when Hulk comes, they're like, "Oh no, Hulk's screwing up Bruce Banner's life again." And you know, then they can spend their whole budget load on the Hulk part. But you know, it really needs the actor to sell Bruce Banner, make us identify with him and want him to succeed, so that when Hulk shows up, we're a little bit like, it's exciting, but oh, come on.
A little tension relief.
We want Banner to succeed.
That's in a totally different continuity than the movies, and they're going to set that up. Hopefully, I mean, like I said, they're pushing these things forward. 2013 is when they want to bring it out, and you know, the Hulk movie, they're pushing for 2015. So keep him hot.
Yeah,
keep him angry.
They had, you know, that was the best Hulk. They finally made it work. I loved it. Yeah. Avengers Hulk, cool.
Other TV stuff, I don't even want to talk about this that much. I just want to tell you to go see it. Tron Uprising, Disney XD, I should say, released the first episode, full episode on YouTube. You know, it doesn't come out till June, but it was exciting. I like it. It's better than the movie. So, you know,
really,
the link, big surprise there.
Maybe I'll check it out then. I don't know. I didn't watch the movie because like it was so mixed. You know, if I don't see something advanced or opening night, I have all these customers coming in, and you know, they want to tell me their opinions. The opinion is like 2/3 negative. I'm not gonna see it in the theater.
It was style over substance, but you know, it's
kind of like you. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Another movie news. Iron Man 3.
With Stiltman?
With Stiltman. No. This was James Badgedale. He was cast as, what's his name, Eric Salvin. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a character in the comic books.
Right.
Not necessarily the Iron Man comics, but he's a character who becomes a superhero himself, Cold Blood. Now, they may not touch on that ever. They just might be throwing up the character in there as like a little Easter egg for fans. But he's playing, in the comic books, he's a lieutenant colonel in charge of Project Ultra Tech, you know, military-industrial complex stuff. Like we said, Iron Man 3 is touching on Extremis, which is already like military experiment stuff. So he could just be some dude working on the project.
What Infinity Gem is he going to have?
Not the Mind Gem.
Yeah.
Because Loki's got that. He's got that pat.
You know, that all sounds well and good, but I'm still waiting for them to introduce Carol Danvers as Air Force captain so we can get going with the Captain Marvel, get her as Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. Yeah. You need another female Avenger. She's my favorite one. They could have introduced her in Iron Man. They could do a S.H.I.E.L.D. movie and introduce her. She could have been in Avengers as a random, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. person, but I'm waiting for her to be introduced because I want her in that continuity.
We got like 3 or 4 more, you know, Marvel movies. That means 3 or 4 more post-credits teasers.
Yes.
To excite ourselves with.
Good times.
Touch it. And let's see, Kick-Ass 2.
The comics is over.
The comics is over, but the movie's just begun.
Seriously.
They're moving forward with Kick-Ass 2. They're pushing for May 2013.
Same actors?
Same actors. Different director.
That's fine.
It's fine. Vaughn is busy doing X-Men First Class sequel.
Nice.
Yeah. Not bad. And, you know, that, of course, is going to be based on, you know, Kick-Ass 2.
Kick-Ass 2.
And the Hit Girl spinoff.
Oh, man. The Hit Girl spinoff is starting in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Miller was planning like a trilogy of these books like from the very beginning, so it's no big surprise they got material to work with for the movies. But like I said, Vaughn is working on X-Men First Class sequel. And
different than First X-Men?
Yeah, it's much different. It's even earlier than that.
Oh, wow.
And no, it's not.
Are they going to skip ahead in time for the sequel? Like
they should.
Yeah, man.
Come on, give me a couple years.
Give me the 80s, at least. You know, or throw in Dazzler, you know.
Yeah, dude, Dazzler, not that would look good on the big screen, but I'm a guy, so.
It would be awesome, you know? Like all the performance and all the light show and everything. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Bedazzled.
You know.
In comic book news, I'm going to segue off of the Vaughn First Class thing, but.
I figured you were.
Yeah, you like that, right?
Yeah.
First X-Men is a comic book that Marvel's putting out in, I think it's August. Perhaps.
Yeah.
This is going to be kind of a prequel X-Men book. You know, big surprise. Not necessarily the freshest formula here, but it's going to be taking place before the first issue of X-Men.
Okay.
You know, it's going to follow Wolverine. Wolverine is going to follow the punishment of mutants and how, you know, the military is starting to do tests on mutants, and it's before Xavier, you know, takes up the torch and the mantle of the Crusader, and Wolverine's going to start sniffing around, and he sees that, you know, the wrongdoings being done to mutants, and they're just it's going to be a 5-issue miniseries, you know, Nothing extreme, and it's Neil Adams.
Yeah, classic dude.
And Christos Gage.
I like Christos Gage. He's written a lot of stuff that I've really dug. I mean, he's a good writer. Yeah. He did a book called Absolution for Avatar that's really sick. It's like Dexter with superpowers.
Dexter with superpowers.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great writer. He just hasn't been on any like big, name book that's like made him. I mean, the Avengers Academy is a great book, but I want him on like Avengers. I want him on like a big title. Yeah. And people say, "Oh my God, this guy freaking rocks." Not like, why should I buy this book about like the Teen Titans of Avengers? I'm like, because it's good. But all right.
And Neil Adams, we're hoping does better than
Odyssey. Justice League International is canceled with issue 12. No big surprise to me. It sells as well, or it's a nice mid-tier seller for the 52. But as far as I am the biggest old school Justice League International fan. All those characters are my favorites. Guy Gardner is my favorite Green Lantern. I love Booster Gold. And, I love Ted Core Blue Beetle, which I guess Ted Core Blue Beetle doesn't even exist in the New 52, maybe?
I ain't seen him.
I don't know. Like, I would rather him be... I loved him so much, but I'd rather him be dead in that way that was so honorable. But if they're retconning all that, okay. Ted Core should be alive as a regular inventor. But anyway, I just never clicked with this book, and I wasn't able to really pitch it very hard. And it just seemed like the old school fans that liked the humor action of Justice League International really couldn't get that. There was just some cliched kind of humor of like, my country is better than your country, like Russia versus China or stuff like that. And furthermore, to me, it's like they're trying to do this fresh take on stuff, but yet they get the old school guys like Dan Jurgens to do it. And it's like, nothing against Dan Jurgens. He wrote Death of Superman. He created Booster Gold and all that. But I want some fresh people with fresh takes. If you're going to retcon, if you're going to reboot the whole thing, give it a new number one, a whole new backstory, put a new writer. I mean, Image has all these amazing writers coming out every month, it seems. Put one of them on that. Yeah, like the Joanne Fabrics thing. Experience the creativity.
Thanks, Kat,
but, I'm not really upset about Justice League International being canceled because, honestly, I wasn't really even reading it for free as a store owner, even though Guy Gardner is my favorite Green Lantern. And Booster Gold is one of my favorite characters. If I name, like, my 5 favorite characters, he's in there, And I just wasn't even excited about it.
I don't think it was canceled because it was selling poorly. I mean, I looked at some of the numbers and like it sold better than Superboy and Suicide Squad.
I'm positive it's going to be rejiggered and renamed as a new Justice League book. I mean, they even teased in that Green Arrow issue of Justice League issue 8 that maybe you're not right for this Justice League, but there could be another Justice League you could be right for. So I can guarantee you there's going to be another Justice League, and they don't want to really dilute that franchise so much. I mean, they can have all these solo titles, but they don't want to have too many books called Justice League something.
Yeah, they're hitting it off with Justice League Dark. And
Justice League Dark is a very unique concept that doesn't,
It's like a Vertigo book almost.
Yes, it doesn't, dilute the brand that much at all, really, in my opinion. But, Justice League International and Justice League is like, okay, like I thought...
Maybe they'll do something with the Zero issues.
Because Justice League isn't even called Justice League America. It's just called Justice League.
Yeah.
So...
The America's a given.
But, you know what I mean. So, I'm excited about those issue zeros. I'm sure they're going to launch a new Justice League book with a world feel to it, probably. Yeah. Probably Green Arrow heading it up, but we'll see.
I don't know, hopefully, because I wasn't reading it. To tell you the truth.
I read the first arc issue. And then I was like, I don't know. I wasn't excited.
No. And then little comic book news, just a little dabbling. Mike Allred is doing one shot of Daredevil 17. Which is cool because I love his work. I love Madman. I love his stuff he did with iZombie.
iZombie got canceled, so he needs some work.
Moving on.
And I'm glad. I think his art will fit the feel that has been established on there with Mark Waid and his stable of artists that
Paulo Riviera is freaking amazing.
And speaking of Mark Waid, I produce a podcast called Executive Produce, which means I do about nothing. Called Nerdy Show. NerdyShow.com. It's a great podcast. They do a lot of news on all kinds of crazy stuff, all kinds of original content too. Their bacon episode was hilarious. That video,
best video I've seen on the internet in the past.
I decided I want to do a comic segment on there monthly to really focus on comics because my guy that was doing comics for them mainly, Triforce Mike, has died, and I need to pick up the reins there. And I brought Adam on, as I want to do, And we did a great interview with Mark Waid. I mean, seriously, the dude was very forthcoming, and it just explained everything about his stance on digital, everything about what he's doing, why he's doing it, and he was freaking entertaining.
Yeah.
And he explained all the nuances of how, what is it, insufferable is not in the irredeemable and incorruptible. Yeah. And there's a nice nuance unfold as to why. Yeah. And that's all explained in the interview. It was a great interview. In fact, we didn't really have to ask him that many questions. I mean, the dude was just on a roll. Yeah. And but funny stuff. He answered every question we would have had in his monologue. And we also had Atomic Robo's Brian Clevenger on there, who was great. Who was funny. You know, is part of the Nerdy Show. So that'll be up all over. It's already on nerdyshow.com. It's on our Facebook.
Posted 2 days ago. The link is right here.
If you want to hear something at work or whatnot, it's actually pretty fun.
Well, I think it's great. I love Mark Waid. I've read like so many interviews of him and seen so many interviews. This was, and I'm so happy to be part of it, but like this was one of the best interviews I've heard from him about this whole digital comics thing, addressing every issue that's come up since he's been coming up in the news.
And I think it, you know, not to blow smoke up my own ass, but I think it's because he knows me. He's been at my store. We hung out. He knows I'm a retailer, and he knows that I'm not on the attack. I'm defending him. Yep. And he also knows Brian Clevenger from Atomic Robo, who has made his career from the internet, from 8-bit theater at the start, and that we found out through the interview. Wade's like, full disclosure, a lot of the, before I did this launch, I got a lot of inside information from Clevenger of what to and not to do with internet launches and whatnot. So I think it was a great interview because he was so at ease and so much, you know, that, you know, we weren't trying to like, relaxed. It wasn't like we were TMZ trying to get him or something. You know? We were just like, yo, buddy, what's up? Yeah. So it was fun, and it comes across that we were all just having fun making jokes. Right. And I busted his balls too, you know, like a little bit, you know. I was like, what?
Why didn't you go down with the ship?
Yeah, go down with the print ship, and like, why do you want to destroy all brick and mortar comic stores? Were your parents killed by brick and mortar in Crime Alley? I mean, did a brick fall on your mom? I mean, but you know, we had a lot of fun.
So check that out, Nerdy Show. That was a little bit of the news from the past week. Aaron from Comic Shop, Adam from Geek Rest. Follow us Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah. And go see Avengers again.
Go see Avengers, because it's out now. The whole word. All right. See you next week.
Bye-bye.